The story of home mission goes back to a time when local congregations used to raise money to fund itinerant preachers who toured the counties of England on horseback. In much the same way, I'll be jumping on my bike to visit churches who continue to support one another in reaching out to their communities with Jesus' love. My name is Ruth Whiter, and my journey will cover the area we know as Weber, which is a network of 120 churches in Gloucestershire, Wiltshire, North Somerset and the city of Bristol. I'll be seeing how home mission is helping to transform our churches. Weston-super-Mare has been expanding ever since it became popular as a seaside resort in the 19th century. The great thing is, the desire to keep moving to where the people are going seems to be written into the DNA of this town's Baptists. One of the town's first Baptist churches, Wadham Street, is now a theatre. But as this town has grown, Baptists have consistently worked together to make sure they are an important part of each new community. Wadham Street helped plant Clarence Park Baptist Church in the early 1900s, with funding from what was then called the 20th Century Fund.
A name used then as an appeal that we now know as home mission.
In 1925, Clarence Park helped establish Milton Baptist Church as the town spread inland.
And they call this project the Forward Movement.
Then, in 1983, Milton applied for a home mission grant to fund a minister who would plant a church on a new housing estate in Worle. A team of ministry students came to help with outreach, including one young man by the name of Nigel Coles, now Weber's senior regional minister.
We first met in a home, and we were there for several months before we moved to a hay barn, a local farmer who was part of our fellowship, and then we moved to a primary school, a new building, and that was very good for us for 3 years. From there on to a larger school before eventually we were able to acquire a piece of land and put on the temporary building which came down from Leicester in 7 modules and a number of lorries. From that on we came to develop the site here, and we were moved into this building in 2003, and we have been here growing ever since.
But this story of movement doesn't stop here. They're still building new houses in Weston-super-Mare, this time on an old RAF base at Locking Parklands.
Yeah, this is the first phase of housing at Locking Parklands, which is just on the edge of Weston-super-Mare, about 2 miles away from Worle. And the plans to have 3,500 new homes in this area as a distinct sort of village or community on the edge of Weston-super-Mare. So our starting point here has been to move in, to be part of this community, to be partners with others working in the area, to make sure this is a good place to be and that a strong community is brought together. In fact, we're right here outside Malcolm and Liz's house, which is where we're going to have lunch in a little while, and right behind me is the house where Andrew and Debbie are going to move into in a few weeks' time. So it's great to have people from the church moving in right at the beginning of this new community.
And we came on the first prayer walk last November, wasn't it? And I came up here and it was a dark November day, and I thought, no, I don't really want to come here, because I've always been excited about church planting and mission, but the thought of coming here at that time just didn't seem right.
There was one prayer walk when Pete made a comment as we met outside, and something on the lines of, we all know why we're here.
And I remember saying to Liz one day, have you got a mission, what's the word? Have you got
Mission heart.
A mission heart? And she said, oh yes. And I thought, oh well, I haven't. But God's really changed my heart, and here we are just a few weeks away from moving in.
It was like God just melted our hearts and made us feel as if, yeah, this is the place I'm sending you to.
Julian, how did you go about the church plant 30 years ago?
Well, when we were planting the church, we moved across town in order to be in the area to help join those who were planting the church. There were a group of 10 of us. We had a home mission grant for a minister, and then we met in his house having Sunday morning services.
So what do you think might be different in this situation?
Well, I think we were always unsure how the church was going to emerge, but we've already seen some amazing opportunities through our partnership with the Housing Association, and the fact that we've been enabled to develop relationships with new tenants at sign-up agreement meetings with the Housing Association, where we've been able to meet with the actual residents coming in and introduce ourselves and offer them welcome baskets.
I usually tell people that I've been involved in pastoral leadership in Worle Baptist, and that because of that I have an interest in people, and they're very welcome to come and have a cup of tea, cup of coffee any time of the day.
So it may not start then with a building and with a minister. So what have you done initially to get the ball rolling?
So the four of us have been on the Crucible training course. We went just a few days after Liz and Malcolm had moved in here, and we had a really good weekend, very informative, and we met up with lots of other people that are doing similar in the other areas of the country.
Home Mission has been part of this story of forward movement since the beginning. Please pray for this new community at Locking Parklands, and keep giving to Home Mission, so that those who dare to step out in faith like this can be supported. Just imagine what God might want to do next.